We have people claiming that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme, and today we will prove that it is not. We will also be dismissing a myth about the trust fund as we go along. A Ponzi scheme is where people invest their money and receive what they are told is the return on their investment, which it is not. The money is used to pay other investors and as much as possible is embezzled by the operators. Example, I invest $10,000 in a fund that appears to be very profitable, a high return on investment. At the end of the year, my statement shows a $4,000 profit, a return on my investment, a total of $14,000 in my account. I decide I want to take that $4,000 return on investment and spend it. The fund sends me a check for $4,000, and my statement now shows $10,000 still in my account that I can withdraw at any time or leave there to make more profit next year. But the $4,000 they paid me, that was for my original $10,000. So there's really only $6,000 left in the account. What happens to that? The operators put it in their own pocket, so now there is zero in my account. But next year, my account shows my $10,000 plus $4,000 profit again, for a total of $14,000. So I want to take out the $4,000, but there is really nothing there. They pay me $4,000, but where does it come from? Well, it isn't returned from the operator's pockets. No, you invested $10,000, and they gave me $4,000 of your money, saying it was profit. Then they take the remaining $6,000 of your money and keep it for themselves. So now we have two accounts that say they have $10,000 each, making $4,000 per year, but the money is really all gone. How do they pay us next year? They take $8,000 from the accounts that newer investors have just opened. Eventually, the hamster stops running in the wheel, keels over, and dies. Usually, this is because they run out of new people to open accounts, and so there is no new money left over to pay out to anyone. In modern times, Bernie Madoff was possibly the most famous Ponzi scheme operator who died in prison in 2021. But Social Security does not offer a return of the money you put in, nor does it provide any return on an investment. Legitimate 401k and IRA funds operate that way. When I entered the workforce and started paying into Social Security, that money and the money coming in from others covered the Social Security payments to my grandparents. But unlike a Ponzi scheme, everybody knew that. Today's payments in are used for today's payments out, and everybody knows it. So it is not a Ponzi scheme right there. You don't receive a return on investment for the payments put in. Nobody says you do. In fact, your contributions into your Social Security account have absolutely nothing to do with what you will take out. Your benefits are figured on your total income from your paychecks. Note that on our title card, the illustration of the statement is called your personal earnings and benefits statement, not referring to your contributions. If you want these statements and are not getting them, please see the link in the description below. Social Security tax is 6.2%. Example, someone makes $25,000 per year and pays $1,550 in per year to Social Security. The employer matches that for a total of $3,100, but that is not taken into consideration as to what your benefits will be. So your contributions aren't an investment, and so with no investment, there is no return on investment. Your benefits are figured on your total paychecks over your working life. What your earned income is in your 20s should be much less than in your 60s, given if you rise in your organization, find a better paying job, receive performance bonuses, cost of living adjustments, and so on. So that grand total, with adjustments for inflation, determines where you stand on the benefits you take out. No investment, no return on investment. It is figured completely differently. No money is taken out and put into some operator's pocket. The closest similarity is not with a Ponzi scheme, but with an annuity, which banks have been selling for hundreds of years. I buy an annuity for $10,000 and the bank promises me a $5 return every year of my life, 5% for as long as I live. Meantime, they take the $10,000 and lend it out for mortgages and car loans for more than 5%, and that difference is their profit. The day I die, no more checks are forthcoming. What happens to the original $10,000? The bank keeps that. That's the deal. So neither the individual nor the estate ever get back the original investment. Likewise with Social Security, you get a monthly check, but you never get back the funds you paid in. As to the trust fund, there are those who say there is no money in the trust fund because Congress has already spent it. The first part of that is true, as it should be. We don't want any money in the trust fund. The second part isn't true. Congress hasn't spent any of the money from the trust fund. So, trust fund. Suppose I open a trust fund for my son and put $1 million into it. He should live so long. I feel bank interest is too low, so I want to invest the money somewhere else and consider stocks and bonds. I zero in on U.S. government bonds and buy $1 million worth. At the end of the day, how much money is in the trust fund? That's right, zero. There is no money because I don't want money in the trust fund. I want interest-paying bonds. Congress has not spent any of the money in my trust fund. I invested it into something that is worth $1 million. The Social Security Trust Fund exists for two primary reasons. One, for recessions, where there are fewer people working and paying in, and yet people taking out. So there is a reserve for that purpose. Also, the baby boomers were seen coming, born between 1946 and 1964. A huge bulge in the population that are drawing from Social Security now or will soon. We do have some solvency problems with Social Security, which we'll address in a video coming up. So be sure to subscribe and click the notifications bell and click the like button while you're at it. The trust fund doesn't consist of cash in a safe or bank deposits. There is at this time $2.7 trillion of bonds in the trust fund. Wells Fargo at this time has $4.21 trillion in total assets. If 2.7 trillion was deposited tomorrow morning at Wells Fargo, it would be like an earthquake for the bank to try to handle. At even 1% interest, they have a low $270 billion interest on that deposit 1 year from now. So they better get busy and find a few 100,000 new customers who want loans real quick. For various reasons, the best investment available was decided to be U.S. government bonds. So there is no cash in the trust fund. We do not want cash in the trust fund. We want securities earning interest. The money in the trust fund, therefore, has not been spent by Congress. It has been invested in financial instruments authorized by Congress. It is true that the federal government has run deficits, but the fact is that the deficit is covered by issuing bonds. Therefore, Congress has never spent the money in the Social Security Trust Fund any more than they have spent the money in my son's trust fund. No, they never touched it. They made available an investment instrument that the trust funds can buy along with anyone else. The deficit itself is a different matter, which we'll also address in another video. Here are some related videos that will be of interest to you. Thank you for joining me today.